to where she could be like turned into a perfect partner for someone. But she has a lot of stuff we have to undo, and a lot of unlearning, unfortunately, which tends to happen with horses that come out of situations like Gemma was put into. My goal for this session with Gemma is just for her to have a good opinion of me, for her to leave this round pen with a good taste in her mouth. A lot of people will turn a round pen into a torture pen with a horse, just pushing them forward, pushing them forward, pushing them forward until they're exhausted, and then they finally look to the human for relief. For me, when I'm playing in a round pen should feel like a playpen, not a spot where we do tons and tons of work. I kind of have a motto of I play with horses, but I work on myself. But at the end of the day, you should be having fun, and the horse should be having fun at the same time. Because before, her only answer to a human approaching her was leave. That was the only answer she thought was appropriate. That's the only answer that she had in her toolbox. So now I'm just going to chain everything that I'm doing and come say hi to my main squeeze. So us predators are so predictable. And she was convinced I was walking up to her. So another way to help prove to a prey animal that you actually are not a predator is do the opposite of what they expect. So for a lot of horses, just our personal, like our body being close to them can feel overwhelming. So a lot of times you can get a little bit further by using a stick to help bridge that gap between the two of you. My body stays further away from her. I stay out of the kick zone, but I can start to build her confidence and tolerance of my energy approaching her personal space. So now the reason I'm fading away, that's the longest I've spent on her right side approaching her and talking to her. Let her feel good about allowing a human to approach her and touch her and then leave her alone. Right. Notice like she wasn't physically moving a ton, but her heart rate was through the roof. Because in her mind, she's like, any second she's gonna turn into a lion and she's gonna eat me. So it took everything inside of her to keep herself still and allow herself to trust me. The beautiful parts about this is they're so forgiving, and they tend to let go of things a lot easier than people. But in the beginning, their education, it's harder for them. So it's similar to a kid who's been through a heck of a lot at a young age. What I'll do is I'll then use my stick to keep the physical connection that I have and just play approach and retreat with my hand going up that stick and further away. And finding where that threshold is and like dancing on that line. Because there are times that you're like, I'm going to push her over her edge of her comfort zone. But then for me as a horseman and for her like trying to prove that I'm good enough to be her partner, it's my responsibility to help her step back off of that ledge, especially if I'm the one that pushes her off of it as I'm trying to help her understand that us humans aren't going to eat her. And here's the thing too, it's like she could leave, like she can go way over there, she can go way away from me, but she's wanting to interact more because I'm coming at her at a way that is more interesting and less threatening. She's not as committed to being scared. Ew. Knowing that, like when a horse is frightened, they literally think their life is coming to an end. That allows us to have more empathy. Oh.
Oh my goodness, Mama.
So she's done. Like when a horse goes from having so much fear of a human to then, okay, I trust you with my life. Gemma's like, he's insane. He's dancing with a predator. He's lost his marbles. I don't think Gemma knows what to think of this. And that's where all of those little pieces lead to, is this two sentient beings being able to communicate back and forth. And right now, she is just getting the tip of the iceberg of like the realization of humans can speak to me and humans can understand me. Because before, I think she thought humans were just like these alien creatures that had no idea how to communicate with her, or no ability to communicate with her.
Pretty lonely.
Yeah. They just get tossed instead of realizing that a lot of the times they're more intelligent and will not tolerate a lot of the more traditional training, as they shouldn't. But like none of this everything that I'm showing you guys, like none of this is new. Like this way of being around horses has been around for thousands of years.
Yeah. Oh. Now he shakes.
Oh, get behind you. Oh, look at it. Girl.
Find the comfortability, right?
Wiggle. Beautiful girl.
So now he's like, well, hi everybody, do you have cookies? My mother starves me. Now, like, there are times that things can get big, that can get loud, that can get firm, but that shouldn't be how you communicate with a horse all the time. And that shouldn't be their entire education. She's just gonna get more comfy. She's just gonna get more confident. I have a feeling she's gonna get kind of sassy. In a good way. So that tends to happen too. Like, when you go around your whole life terrified and scared and worried, and then all of a sudden you realize you don't have to be afraid, you realize you're actually quite powerful, you realize you are quite confident, the horses will sometimes start to test boundaries. And for me, it's like once a unconfident horse starts to question my leadership, I celebrate it because I'm like, oh, you're feeling better. Awesome. So for me, when I'm developing horses, like I want them to be partners. And if we were to divvy up, like, who has the most say or who has the most leadership between the horse and the human, the goal is that the human has 51% of the say and the horse has 49. So it's damn near equal, but somebody has to lead the dance. But it should feel like a love affair with your horse. Like this, a lot of people think, you know, natural horsemanship, or when you see Buck Brannaman or Pat Pirelli or any of those guys, they think it's magic. It's not. It's just communicating with them in a way that they understand. There's so many horses out there that could be like these two.